What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, we have a very interesting event that just happened, and it's quite ironic because I was just talking to infamous Austin about this a couple of days ago and responded to some questions where he inquired about Canada and some Canada's geopolitical options. And I made a video and responded with a series of options they had. They didn't have much because I just thought their their window was too tight right now because Trump was such a reactionary, and any step the wrong way might attract the wrong type of attention in the short term. And today, centuries of Canada-U.S. relations were overturned by Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada, coming back from the trip from China, dropping the bombshells of a series of negotiations, deals, agreements, strategic partnering that Canada's planning on doing with China. This is incredible. And I found it so ironic because I was just talking about Canada with Austin. So, Austin, I don't know if you saw this coming. Are you holding out on me? Do you know this was coming? Because this took me completely by surprise. I have to say, and cooperative. benign and cooperative. That has been Canada's secret sauce. How do you stay next to one of the most powerful countries in the world, one of the most aggressive countries in the history of the world, and maintain your sovereignty with a tenth of the population, while sitting on the second largest country in the world and the resources that come along with that, mind you? America has been a menace to many of its neighbors. A menace. Usually, the closer you are, the more it's felt. None so more dire than the situation of Mexico and the Mexican American War. But Canada has made it relatively stably, in a stable nature, next to the United States after all this time, because Canada geopolitical play was benign and cooperative. They were agreeable, the friends to the north, whatever you want. You want NATO America, we're there with you. You want to go in Afghanistan, we're there with the United States. Canada has always been that friend to the end for the United States. It was benign and cooperative. This trip, when you're dealing with a president who, since the beginning of his second term, came into office, pointing to Greenland and Cuba, stating that his primary concerns were maintaining hemispheric security, when he just took out the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, because he thought Venezuela's oil was getting too close to China. And what does the prime minister do? He goes to China. It's pictures everywhere. It's video everywhere. And it's the words that Carney's using. I mean, this is brass cojones at its finest. This dude gives flips, two flips the way he's talking. It's reckless. It's reckless. It would turn a dove into the hawk. If you was an American dove, you're a hawk now listening to Mark Carney. The way he talks. Now, from what I know about Mark Carney, he came into power prime minister last year. He's a golden child. He's a very bright guy. This guy has an immaculate resume. A central banker twice, Harvard, Oxford, Ivy League guy, Goldman Sachs guy. He has all the accolades. People wait in line to see a guy like this, right? Very competent, very intelligent. You must understand, he knows what he's doing. He's obviously have some confidence in this, but this is a gambit. I'm surprised American troops haven't even been mobilized yet. They asked Trump about this, and he seemed a little sedated. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But Canada, this wasn't benign and this wasn't cooperative. For a president who said his number one priority pretty much is hemispheric defense, and he's preparing for a war with China, just authorized a $1.5 trillion defense budget, who's trying to seal up the Arctic. The country that is its neighbor, it sits between the United States and the Arctic, is Canada. And Canada goes doing this. They're cutting tariffs on EV vehicles. For those that don't know, China kills it in the EV electrical vehicle space with BYD and other companies. They're amazing. Like all Chinese things that the Chinese do, they do it in mass and affordable, and they'll get it done. And they're absolute terror when it comes to trade because it's hard to compete with Chinese laborers. That is the history of man, truthfully, is trying to outcompete the Chinese. So good luck with that. Carney's taking the 100% tariff on these vehicles and dropping it down to, I believe, 6.1%. And this is where I talk about some of the language he uses, inflammatory. He talks about security and intelligence cooperation. He says that they have common, Canada and China have common security concerns, especially when it comes to Arctic and Greenland. The flip, this is like inviting somebody outside to come in and talk about family business at Thanksgiving dinner. He talks about the New World Order. Are you serious? You're courting China, talking about the New World Order, where Donald Trump's whole administration is about paranoia because he believes China trying to bring in the New World Order. I just thought this was so incendiary, so inflammatory, and the fact that Trump isn't, I haven't seen a Twitter rampage yet. I am absolutely shocked. But for a country sitting next to America, and there have been plenty of Americans that saw that big, beautiful country of Canada, speak similar language, have a shared history, shared roots in the Anglosphere, lots of commonality. It's the world's second largest trade relationship behind the United States and Mexico. And you look at all those Canadians huddled up to the American border. And there have been empire builders that have seen, as Trump said himself, even Trump say, removing that imaginary line, what you will have the largest country in the world, even bigger than Russia. You will have a leader in economics, probably a third of the global economy alone with Canada and the United States as one nation. A leader in oil, gas, timber, minerals, space, national defense. The sky's the limit when America has complete security on that frontier, the northern frontier in the Arctic, as well as access where American capital can truly invest in those vast, almost seemingly limitless space of resources that Canada has. So, but what has always kept America benign itself, or what has kept America a friend of Canada, is Canada has been benign and cooperative. This guy, Mark Carney, smart guy, Prime Minister Mark Carney, smart guy, but this is a gambit. So it's going to be real interesting, isn't it? Really interesting how when one door closes, a window opens. America seemingly just got on top of the hemisphere, bringing Venezuela into the fold, only to lose, only to be challenged by its longtime friend, the friend that never complains, the friend that always have a smile. Trump have pissed these guys off. And who's to say if they went too far or not? But this is a very, very move by Prime Minister Carney. And it's going to be interesting how this plays out. I'm not sure it's even much support either side, truthfully, because I think some of the Canadian population, just like they have historically done so, have understood there are bumps on this road with the United States. And for them to have some of the benefits they have, they endure those bumps because they don't have to focus so much on the defense of the hemisphere. American ships are going to protect. They have a neighbor next door that they have all these customers. They have access to a 300 million people market to sell their goods into. A lot of the economy is similar. And this is why Trump say he feels he don't need Canadian goods, because America, United States, and Canada, they occupy pretty much the same space. It's just you're dealing north of the Great Lakes or south of the Great Lakes. That's pretty much what it is. So a lot of these resources traverse that imaginary line that we call a border. So I think this is a very bold new direction that Prime Minister Carney is embarking on. We'll see where it goes, but I'm surprised. As I said, I'm surprised Trump hasn't came out with his usual fury when something like this is probably the biggest slap in his face of his administration so far. To have Canada be so bold to go to China, there's pictures everywhere, everywhere, stars and signals with maple leafs everywhere, and to see this coming together of your neighbor, someone America probably perceives as a best friend. You can argue, has America treated it like a best friend? But to see Prime Minister Carney hugged up with Premier Xi Jinping in China, oh my gosh, how is Trump not fuming? How is he not fuming? So this is going to be an interesting situation as these geopolitics roll out. We'll definitely love to hear your thoughts on this. Please comment below, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And until next time, take care. Bantu up.